What's going on, guys? Seth and Chevy here. We just watched episode 2 of Chainsaw Man, and it went by very fast. Before we jump into our review of that episode, I wanted to let you guys know that we have not read the manga. In case you are coming here from that, we are
anime only.
Purely watching the anime, first time, blind, and yeah, that's where we're coming from. So, quick recap. This was an episode of introductions. After the last episode where we got the introduction to Denji and a little bit of his backstory and how he became the Chainsaw Man and, what devils are. In this, we're introduced to the girl that we met at the end of the last episode, Makima, who essentially... is doing exactly what we kind of said she was doing in the first episode. She's kind of treating Denji like a dog, and he seems to be okay with that. It's a little better than what he was dealing with before.
Yeah, from Yakuza dog to government dog now.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, a couple scenes with them kind of getting to know her a little bit, not all too well, but kind of seeing the dynamic between them. He's even hesitant to... ask if it's cool if he gets food, and she's like, I don't care, whatever, just do what I tell you to do, all that kind of thing. Although you can kind of tell she has an interest in Denji, which I think is alluded to later in the episode. So yeah, they eat, then they head over to the Devil Hunter headquarters in Tokyo, in which we are told there's, thousands of Devil Hunters in Tokyo?
I think that's what they said, yeah.
Yeah. And essentially, they solidify that he's going to be working for them until he dies. Unless he wants to leave, then they will treat him like a devil because he is half human, half devil. And whether they're working with him or not, they will treat him like a human or treat him like a devil, depending on what he decides to do. We're introduced to Aki, I think his name was.
Yeah, it didn't stick for me for some reason, so... You're probably right.
The other part of his name started with an H, and I can't remember it yet, but I will remember it eventually. And yeah, they get partnered up to kind of see if they can mesh well together. They go out on a walkabout type thing, and we find out pretty quickly that they do not work well together. Aki does not like Denji. He wants him to leave by tomorrow. He roughs him up a bit to kind of let him know how serious he is. Kind of explains that he has seen people join the Devil Hunter group who their ambitions weren't pure and they died because of it. And so in a weird way, he's almost like, assuming Denji isn't serious about what he's doing. And I hesitate to say he wants to protect him by, giving him this tough love. He definitely doesn't like him. But he is trying to give him the hint, like, you're not going to belong here. We're met after that with Denji repeatedly kicking Aki in the balls like 8 times. I think you said it well when you said they animated that way better than they should have. Yeah. With the first scene where he kicks him from behind, that was really wild. Was not expecting that. Yeah, so they kind of rough each other up a bit in that situation and head back to headquarters, in which Makima is asking how they're doing together, and you can definitely tell there's tension. So she kind of says that Denji is going to be part of Aki's squad, or whatever they called that. I can't remember.
It's an experimental unit.
Yeah. So he's got a unit of Devil Hunters, and he will be joining him, and they're going to be living together. Which is interesting because we see a scene where Denji is living with him, and he is enjoying the good life. He's eating the toast he wanted to eat with everything on it. He's enjoying taking baths and making random noises while he's doing that, and falling asleep on the toilet and not replacing the toilet roll, which is a crime against humanity. So I felt that for Aki when he saw that. Yeah, so kind of an odd couple thing going on there. They go back to the headquarters later, and we are introduced to the other character that I've heard about, Power, who's apparently a fiend. I think that's what it was.
Yeah, a devil that took over a corpse.
Yeah. And this actually happened after they went and got rid of the Fiend.
Took care of a
yeah,
Fiend,
I'm
yeah.
skipping a part. But we're introduced to her after they go on a quick mission where essentially Aki wants Denji to show him his abilities after he learns that Denji is in fact a hybrid of human and devil. In which I found it kind of funny. I don't think it's supposed to be, but Denji doesn't really do a whole lot. He just kind of lifts his axe up, and as the Fiend is attacking him, he just kind of lobs its head off.
Treats him like a zombie almost.
Yeah, it's just like no effort, and he's like upset. Aki's like upset that he didn't show his powers, and I'm thinking like, well, if he could just do that, why would he waste all that?
Yeah.
And then later, as we start learning Denji's ambitions of wanting to essentially touch boobs, he says that he was trying to
creates that ambition in that moment.
Yeah, exactly. He also says that he was protecting the porn magazines that were on the floor from the blood, and that's why he chopped the dude's head off. So we're starting to learn that Denji has very simple ambitions.
He's definitely an animal.
Yeah, he kind of embraces the being a dog thing. So, yeah. Then in that situation too, we kind of learn that fiends have distinguished faces that you can't really mistake from something else, and also that Aki takes this very serious, as he says that Devil's killed his family in front of him, and that he knows the cops outside. He's had drinks with them, and he understands that they're trying to protect their families, and he still doubts Denji's motivations for what he's doing. So you can kind of see where Aki's coming from. Even though he's a dickhead, you can tell he's been kind of hardened by the stuff he's seen and experienced, and he just doesn't want somebody stepping in who's not going to take that serious. So you get where he's coming from. I appreciate that. We'll talk about that. And then, yeah, of course, I already mentioned it. We are introduced to Power, who is a fiend, which is very interesting. And she speaks very bluntly and calls people humans, which I think is very interesting, considering she's not that. We don't get a whole lot of info on her outside of that she is a fiend. And essentially, her and Denji get paired together to go on a mission in which they just kind of wander around. She has horns on her head, so they tell them to kind of, when they're going around Tokyo, to kind of stay out of public areas and kind of take alternate routes. So they're walking on rooftops, and the first thing Power starts talking about is that she wants blood. She's got some bloodlust, and she kind of demands it from Denji, looking very bored while they wander around. Eventually, she gets a whiff of blood and goes into a sprint, freaking out. Denji tries to keep up with her, and she just jumps off a roof with a hammer made from her own blood, which was very interesting. And there is a devil down below her, and she just blows it the fuck up and celebrates that that was her kill, that she got it. So, and I think that's where the episode just kind of ended, which was pretty quick. So like I said, this is an episode of introductions. This is us getting to know multiple characters, not even very well, but introductions. And then introductions to, fiends, the headquarters, how some of the hierarchy works a little bit, and a lot of questions of ambitions through Aki's judgment of Denji. So what do we think of this episode?
Well, I immediately want to give him credit for the consistency on the art. That's important, because it's pretty common sometimes to have inconsistencies in that, though less common in 12 to 24 episode animes. I think the pacing was really good in the episode.
It's too good because it ended in 2 minutes.
Yeah, well, and I just love, like, you start off, he's getting to eat something other than a piece of bread for the first time in his life, pretty much.
It's his first udon.
Yeah, that he passed out for, and it became soggy, and he was still enjoying it. Yeah. So,
I like how he just woke up. He's like, the udon.
Yeah.
Udon. He's like, is it cool if I eat this udon? She's like, yeah.
Yeah, and then even like when him and what's his name again, Aki?
Yeah.
Getting that argument in the alleyway when when he's first trying to get him to kind of like fuck off. He while he's kicking him in the balls over and over again, he's like, I had my first udon, I had my first sausage. This is the best life I've ever had. You're not taking that from me.
Yeah, he says that, and he kind of shows him how committed he is. He's like, I'll die for this. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like,
which is kind of sad that a bowl of udon was the best thing he's ever done.
His
in his
life was not awesome before.
No, for sure.
So,
It's just kind of crazy.
yeah.
And then even when they, I like also when they go on their mission and he has to kill that fiend and he uses the axe instead of his powers. While they're having that conversation, he gets asked if, or before they go up there, he's like, "Didn't you go to school?" He's like, "No."
Yeah.
He's not an educated man. He lived in a shack his whole life, pretty much. So.
Yeah, and he was raised by Yakuza who were siphoning everything that he made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I kind of like how, and what I feel like is going to happen here is Aki is eventually just going to realize that Denji's basically a child. And so I feel like he's going to warm up to him in that regard in the long run.
Yeah.
And then when we get Power introduced to us, we got the trailer scene, which was just as good this time. That voice actress is really good. I like the way she portrays that character. I like all the characters so far, actually.
Yeah, same.
But her whole, like, the way she acts all the time, she's literally female Denji, it seems.
She's a really interesting compliment
Yeah.
to his character because he comes off as like this weird animal man,
Yeah.
like from everybody else. But then she shows up and I'm like, she makes him look more sane
Yeah.
and like more normal.
Yeah, because she acts like an animal. Like, pretty much like a bloodthirsty animal, though.
Well, he comes
honestly.
off as a dude who's just like has the like, he's a simple guy and
Yeah.
he like, you know, is okay with being treated like an animal. He'll play the part. She doesn't seem like she's human.
Yeah.
She seems like a crazy person.
Well, and like every time she speaks, it's with such enthusiasm so far.
Yeah.
And so, like, just like, even
It's
when
like
it's
how
a mundane conversation, she's just demanding attention.
I just
as
like how she
speaks.
fucking came down the hallway, came in the door, and she like gets into this like fighting position, and Denji's just like looking at her, and he like looks at her boobs, and he's like, "Oh, okay,"
He's like, I'll put up with crazy.
Yeah.
She's hot. So,
because that's one of his main goals that he said in the first episode.
so yeah, I'm looking forward to their dynamic because they both seem kind of simple-minded. So,
Yeah, it's perfect.
yeah. And I feel bad for Aki at this point to put up with both of them.
Yeah,
So-
though his introduction was, you know, I'm definitely on Team Denji in that
Oh, for
situation.
sure.
But once you get his, you know, reasons behind it, it's an extreme way to express what he's saying. And he's probably dealt with it so many times trying to tell people, like, get out of here. They're like, oh, they can't be talked out of it, that he feels he just has to enforce it by...
He's trying to scare him off because
Exactly,
they're just
yeah.
going to die, he thinks. So.
Yeah, exactly. And it definitely played that out throughout the episode of even towards the end when they were talking in the room about it.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much it. I also, the animation of her forming the hammer was smooth.
I was actually really impressed with like a lot of the animation in this episode. I was in the first one as well, but like there was even a scene when they're on the rooftop and Power's like running back and forth and stuff like that. And the motion of her movement
And
was
her clothes.
and her clothes and hair and
Yeah.
everything looked really good. Which, you know, I can look at a lot of anime and I'm like paying attention to like the animation and the art style stuff like that. But in this, I'm like really looking at it a lot because it looks so good.
Yeah.
I really like the art style. We talked about this last episode, and the animation complements it really well. They're really putting a lot of work into it, and it really shows because I love looking at this anime when we're watching it.
Yeah, other than that, I mean, time flew by and I had
Too fast.
plenty of opportunities to laugh at it, which was great because if you're going to be super gory and bloody, it's nice to have humor as well.
Yeah, this show deals with a lot of dark stuff, but it's also very humorous.
Very humorous.
And not even like typical anime humor, but like also it's like going out its way to be very comedic. The whole tone is like very comedic, but then it's like, oh yeah, my whole family got murdered by a devil in front of me. And he's talking about all this like stuff about like all these cops are just people trying to like protect their families from all this stuff. Like, you shouldn't be here, blah, 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 blah. Nothing funny about that.
Right.
But then it's constantly, complimented by Denji just saying some basic stuff or thinking about boobs or porn magazines or
Right.
basic things. So, yeah. Overall, though, 2 episodes in, I'm really liking the show a lot. This, Jessica's the first one, didn't have a cool action sequence like the first episode, but I didn't need that because with all the character introductions, it's setting us up for the next episode. We won't have to do that again. But but I liked getting to know these characters. A lot of the humor was definitely funny, so I was really enjoying that. And yeah, it was a cool episode. It just went by so quick. It was such a quick episode. I really like the beginning when him and Makima are talking, kind of getting their dynamic down a bit. She definitely is like in control of the situation. He's just kind of riding it out and seeing where things go. I also like how blunt Denji is being about his interest in Makima. Like he's just like asking Aki when they're walking down the street.
Yeah.
Like,
Have a boyfriend?
Does she have a boyfriend? Like, and the whole time Aki's just like getting annoyed. He's like, she's not even in your league, and he's just like, I don't give a shit. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I thought the alley scene was really good. It seemed kind of brutal at first, but then it's again complemented by the humor of, Denji's not just a victim. He's not just the dude who got his ass kicked in the alleyway. He was just like, fuck this guy.
Yeah.
And he just like kicked him right in the balls. And then of course, Aki like fought back, and then he kicks him in the balls again. It was almost funnier like after he'd kicked him multiple times that he did it again.
But he
that
even commented on it.
That was like his next attack is just to kick him in the balls again. And like, that guy's never having kids.
Yeah, even when Aki's like getting ready to pass out on the ground, he's like, "You really were just aiming for the balls."
Yeah, very funny. And then the small little mission they went on that kind of was, more so a way to introduce the idea of fiends, but also give a little bit of insight on Aki's perspective on devil hunting. Was effective. Again, had the humor though with Denji being a simple dude. I loved the scene with them together in the apartment. That was really funny. The concoction Denji made on the toast was ridiculous, and there's just stuff everywhere because he's just simple dude who lived in a shack. So
wasn't it like 3 jams, honey, butter, and cinnamon?
Yeah.
Jesus.
And he loved it, and then probably would be pretty good. Honestly, I think it's too busy of a flavor, but. Probably be good. Power we didn't get much from, but definitely a strong presence. I already feel like I know that character pretty well and what they're going to offer, but definitely curious to see how that relationship will evolve, but also I want to see her and Denji in a fight. I'm curious how that's going to go. With their abilities separately. I was curious about what Aki can do. I mean, he's got a sword, but other than that, I don't know much about him.
He's the one in the trailer who does the 2 hands together and the dog comes out and bites.
Oh, he would.
Yeah,
he would do something like that. That sounds like something that a character that looks like him would do. And yeah, overall an awesome episode. Really enjoyed it. Can't wait for episode 3. This one went by way too quick, way faster than the first episode for me.
That's been my whole week, man.
Yeah, and I'm definitely invested. I'm looking forward to next Tuesday so we can watch it and review it all over again. But yeah, great episode.
Agreed.
Did we grade the last episode?
I think we did.
I figure we'll just grade the whole season.
Okay.
Because I'm just gonna like these episodes
for sure.
So we'll grade the whole season when we end it. But you pretty much got our impression. So let us know in the comments. Do you have anything else to say?
No, I just my whole week, everything I've watched has gone by too fast. It's a really crazy season for anime, and Chainsaw Man is definitely one of those. So
it's really good so far. Only 2 episodes in, and loving it. Let us know in the comments though. What did you guys think of episode 2 of Chainsaw Man? Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you like about it? What are you thinking about the characters? Again, we did not read the manga, so if you're coming into this from that perspective, try to keep it spoiler free for us. But from this episode, what did you think of the characters? If you are a seasoned vet of Chainsaw Man, how do you think they're representing these characters in the anime so far? And are you looking forward to episode 3? Let us know everything you think about in the comments below. But I've been Seth. This has been Chevy. Stay tuned. We'll have more things coming out here on Tasty Flicks. And until the next episode, which will probably be the review of Chainsaw Man episode 3 or something else. Hopefully we can get Jujutsu Kaisen done. Have a good one, and we'll talk to you later.